Let's ask our next guest to weigh in on this one. He's the editor over at the Gateway Pundit. He's got his ear down to the ground in the swamp. Joe Hoft joining us once again. All right, Joe. So before we get to the scrambling of the jets and the psycho guy in front of the White House, let's go to the investigations of the other two guys and just the overall Secret Service and how our government is protecting Donald J. Trump. With your sources, do you think that they have beefed it up? I mean, I've heard that they did, obviously, on the campaign trail. We saw it with our own two eyes. And I'm hearing that this round, Secret Service is even greater than it was on Trump's first round in 2016. What are you hearing about the safety provided for the 47th president?
Great question, Dan. Great to be with you, as always. The thing is, as you're talking about all this, as you bring up these stories, I think all of America is just absolutely frightened for what might happen to President Trump, although we've got to have some faith that he's here for a reason. And I believe that how he ended his speech on Tuesday, he believes there's a reason that he's here. And I think we all do. So we're all wanting him to be safe and protect more than anything from all and any threats. The incident in Mar-a-Lago, apparently it wasn't just a couple of flights this weekend that were stopped and gotten out of this airspace over Mar-a-Lago, but it's apparently 20 times now since he's been in office. So that's only about 40 or coming up on 50 days now that President Trump's been in office.
It's like one every other day.
Yeah, that's right. So a bit concerning, although what I've read is that the flights may have been pretty innocent guys, small crafts where they didn't really realize what they were doing. But you never know. You just never know.
Don't they get those alerts, though? Joe, sorry to interrupt. I've been up with buddies that are private pilots, and I think so, before you go up, you're supposed to check flight data and all that stuff, right? And so if there's any restrictions, even as a small pilot, not a commercial pilot, you would know taking off from, let's say, Fort Lauderdale, whatever, right? Let's say you're south of Palm Beach. You get a warning or a notice like, hey, by the way, there's a flight restriction, 30-mile radius around this point up by Palm Beach. Don't fly into it. I think they're warned about that, aren't they?
That makes sense, Dan. I don't really know for sure, but the thing that's really concerning is the fact that it's happening, and is it just a plot to just kind of test the waters to see what they can get away with and what they can't?
Good point.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
that's scary
we
to think
don't
about.
know. We don't know about that. The White House incident was, the guy does sound like maybe he was suicidal, and he was. Trump wasn't near there. There was another incident last week as well. I'm trying to remember where that was. It wasn't outside the White House, but there's more threats on the president. So we've got to keep him safe. He's fighting not just politicians within the U.S., but he's fighting the whole world right now, standing up against the globalists and And
people forget about those strike teams. Remember what the CIA and the FBI and Secret Service told us after he got shot in Butler, that they believed, and I believe this was coming from Christopher Wray, that they believed there was 2 to 3 international and 1 stateside. I don't know if it was homegrown or paid for, but they believed there was 2 to 3 strike teams looking to kill President Trump during the campaign. Remember that? It was like one was being funded by Iran, one was just homegrown American wacko leftists, and the other one was another foreign nation. But they believed there was 3 strike teams looking to kill him, and that was months ago. Which brings me to my next question for you, as far as any investigating at the Gateway Pundit. Have you guys learned anything else about either Matthew Crooks, the young individual who shot President Trump in the head at Butler, or this clown Ryan Routh, who tried to shoot him at his golf course down in Palm Beach? He was actually in court in the last week. And of course, there's so much doubt surrounding both these guys, and the story we're getting, they both acted alone. Because you had Routh, 100 visits to an Army base over the last couple of years, and the guy wasn't a vet, a big supporter of Ukraine, and then this Matthew Crooks kid. Strange stuff there. No accomplice, even though he was on the phone right before he did it. What was the weird stuff? No silverware in his house, no fingerprints anywhere. Like, both of the facts surrounding these two attempted murderers of President Trump. Very sketchy. Anything new on your front, Joe? I haven't heard anything new lately.
Not really necessarily lately, but I mean, there was this court hearing with Ralph in Florida this week. His prosecutors who are representing him, they've asked to have access to the Trump golf course last week, and they got access to look around where the incident occurred. Lots of questions with him. He was also, remember the guy that was in the White House and received an award, this chef from overseas. He's in a picture with Ralph over in Ukraine. So a lot of ties between Ralph and Ukraine as well.
Yep.
The Butler incident, I still say there's information that we haven't seen, some material,
of course,
reports that we haven't seen, death certificates, things, medical certificates, all sorts of stuff. Was the guy on drugs, for example? We don't, we haven't seen any of this stuff. It's kind of unique. Lots of questions still in that as well, just wide open.
Yeah. Well, a lot of unanswered questions, and I know that we just learned about, a week ago, President Trump named his longtime Secret Service agent, Sean, his last name's escaping me, but from what I recall, Trump had told me Sean's been with him since about 17, I think, or 16, one of his first agents. He just promoted him to the director of Secret Service, and so obviously there's going to be an investigation there to find out more, but still, so many unanswered questions. Butler, Florida, now, like you just said, multiple incidences in the air. I hope they're keeping him safe. We, I think, as the American citizenry, has to continue to put pressure on our elected leaders, right? To make sure that they are ensuring that the people put in charge of the safety and security for our POTUS, no matter who it is top notch. The best in the land. It has to be. Joe Hoft, great stuff. You and your brother Jim are doing at Gateway Pundit. Folks, if you don't follow them, go follow the Gateway Pundit. Appreciate you, Joe.
Thanks, Dan.
Yep. Take care.